is a college like no other. No bricks and ivy, but sun and sand, where learning happens everywhere, even here. A home for the adventurous, the doers, the free thinkers, and the best friends, where we push you to become a better citizen, problem solver, creator, for the careers of today and new ones on the horizon.
The first 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions.
Wins the national championship.
Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of Scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
Did you know that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating? And verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit? Act with respect and be officially human.
Good afternoon, greetings, and welcome inside the MacArthur Center here in St. Petersburg, where Eckerd College is hosting unbeaten and #1 ranked Tampa this afternoon. The Spartans roll in at 22-0, an absolute powerhouse. Year in, year out, the 4-time national champions, most recently in 2021, are here to take on the Tritons. First, we honor America with the playing of the national anthem. The national anthem concludes here inside the MacArthur Center. The Spartans 14-0 in conference play. The Tritons, for their part, have an overall record of 15-10, 5-9 in conference, but have won a couple in a row after upsetting 10th-ranked Lynn last weekend and then dominating Florida Southern here in the MacArthur Center last night. Big Fred Stewart is introducing the starters for each squad down on the court. I'm Nate March. You're watching the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Tritons gave Tampa one of their toughest matches of the season across the Bay earlier this year, a 3-2 match with the fifth set ending 15-13. Spartans have had a few tough matches this year. Of course, they share a conference, both these teams do, with third-ranked Barry. But the Spartans have opened up a 3-game lead in the conference heading into the home stretch with just a couple weeks left in the season. Well, if the Tritons are going to pull the upset against the Spartans, you know who the usual suspects are going to be who have to have huge games. Gabby Young-Jaychuk from the setter position, teeing up Kinga Mikulska, is going to be one of the biggest keys. I was lucky enough to be here on the call the last time that Eckerd defeated Tampa. That was on October 11th, 2022, which was also the last time that Tampa played a season as the defending national champions. One lineup wrinkle we've seen the Tritons go to as they've had to adapt to numerous injuries over the course of this season is Sila Haruska spending some time in the libero jersey. She acquitted herself pretty well there last night. Sydney Williams, I think we'll still see a slight majority of the time at libero, but we shall see. As I said, Mikulska is the engine that makes things go for this Tritons team. Up over 300 kills on the season. A senior outside hitter from Poland, putting together a massive senior campaign. Meanwhile, for Tampa, not only is their offense much more balanced, lots more contributors, but also some of those numbers aren't going to be as gaudy because of the number of sweeps that they generate. They have not dropped a set since October 24th. Connor Ron, a sophomore from Orange Park, Florida, leads the way with 264 kills on the season. Tess Schranger, a senior, also up over 200 on the year. But then there are three more hitters over 100 kills, and Jenna Davis is closing in quickly. The St. Petersburg High School product, a senior for the Spartans, is at 90 kills on the year. And also, Tampa has two dynamic setters. Kayla Dondero, the sophomore from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, with 431 assists on the year, complemented by Jenna Glaudel. And the freshman out of West Chicago is at 309 assists on the season. Meanwhile, Young-Jaychuk, who is the true primary setter for the Tritons, 741 assists in her senior campaign. Coaching matchup, Michelle Piantadosi Lima in her 14th season at the helm of the Tritons. Brian Imperial is in his first. He began this year as the interim coach for Tampa. That interim tag has been removed. He spent the last 10 years as the top assistant for the Spartans and has yet to drop a match since taking over the head seat. Tampa at the right end of the floor in their white jerseys with the black shouldering and arms. The arms alternate, black, red stripe, white down the forearm. Triton's going with their Navy outfits here at home. Strong contingent of Tampa fans on hand. It's gorgeous weather outside. A large contingent of the Eckerd student body is out on the bayfront. I think we'll still see some more straggling in here as we get rolling, which we're going to do right now with Caitlin Doss. A sophomore hitter springs into her serve, and we're underway. Eckerd against number 1 Tampa. Batted into the back row. Tunley gets her first touch, and the Tritons got the deflection at the net and secure the first point of the match. Natalie Aniol, who played really well in the first meeting between these two teams back in October, coming up with the first kill. Doss lofts it across. A two-hand touch over the top. Here's Mikulska's first hit. Ball winds up above the rafters. Didn't touch anything, though. Has to be knocked across. That's a pretty deft touch by Schranger. Mikulska again. The libero, Rivera, defended it well for Tampa. Here's Tunley out of the back row in the middle of the floor with an attack. And if there's no deflection, this will be an Eckerd point. It is. Spartans were looking for the deflection call. Tess Schranger on the attack. And it was wide. 2-0 Eckerd here in set 1. They took the first set and the fourth set in the match earlier this year. Doss's third straight serve, received by Ron. As Schranger pounds it, and off a deflection has the point for the Spartans to cut the lead to 2-1. Here comes some of that student body starting to pour in, a little late arriving, but I think this place will be pretty rowdy by the time we get to the end of this first set. Tampa's first serve, a sinker. And a well-struck ball to the floor. I believe that was Aniol again, and she's got a couple early kills. A 3-1 score. Sydney Knowles is something of a serving specialist for this Tritons team, and here she is serving Tampa a little out of sorts. Just has to push that ball over, which Jenna Davis does. And in the middle of things is Tunley at the net with the kill for Eckerd. Another seemingly errant touch, but a nice set by Dondero. Mikulska a little far away from the net on that attack. Dondero tees it up for Ron, and the Tritons active at the net again. It's 5-1 Eckerd out of the gate here in set 1. Knowles springs into her serve, loops it into the back row, received by Schranger. Schranger comes on the attack, it's blocked back. Not many teams have a setter that can block like young Jaychuk can. Timeout Tampa, as Eckerd has raced to a 6-1 lead straight out the gate. We'll step aside on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. out of the timeout. Sydney Knowles serving for the Tritons. 6-1, Eckerd in front. The very early going here against number 1 Tampa. Knowles launches a serve. Rivera receives it. Another gentle touch attack. Good defense out of the back line. Rivera defends Mikulska's attack. Out of the back row, a miss hit, an attack error by Connor Ron. 7-1 Eckerd. Knowles appears to have at least one of her fingers wrapped on her serving hand. In fact, it looks like her ring finger and pinky finger taped together, and she commits a service error and subs out. Still a good run of service. That error ends a 5-0 scoring run by the Tritons. Tess Schranger serving from the middle of the floor. Hruska receives it. Mikulska pounded it onto the top of the net. Tampa went up to play it. It's knocked into the bleachers. 8-2. Williams swaps on for Hruska. Young Jaychuk serves across. Really nice set by Dondero. Triton's out of sorts. Have to hit it across. Tunley does. Rivera receives. Dondero pushes to the far side, teeing up the kill for Connor Ron. Ana Rivera, the native of Puerto Rico. Lots of hard dribbling into the floor, ready to go. Serves across. Mikulska attacked it, knocked back, and it lands out. Eckerd point. Good discipline by the Tritons not to play that. 9-3. Mikulska springs into her serve. Barely received by Tampa. Rivera has to nudge it across. Here comes Tunley. Another great Dondero set. And hit long by Das. So Tampa breaks Mikulska's serve, which is going to be one of the keys for the number 1 Spartans. Hruska falls down playing that. Mikulska, Rivera dives to defend it. Glaudel has come on as the setter. Das twists the ball across. Diagonal hit. Tritons are a bit of a mess right now in their rotation. Tunley goes with a gentle attack. Ron. Hruska bumps it up. Here's Tunley again. Pounds it off the blockers. 10-4 Eckerd. Annual subs on. And no deflection. That attack is wide. Hit out by Rachel Gregg. Gregg, another one of the seniors on this Tampa team. Sydney Williams serves. Here's Ron. It's going to carry all the way across. Rivera plays it. I thought it might sail out. Blocked down, but out for the Tampa point. Credit Ron on the kill. And now Ron will serve. Prepped at Middleburg High School. In for the ace. Tritons let it go. They were right on top of it. They thought for sure that it was out. Triton's bench, coaching staff especially, were right there on top of it too. Mikulska receives, and it's dunked down onto the back of young Jaychuk by Rachel Gregg. And now Tampa is back in the mix, cutting it to 11-7. Back set for Tunley. That's up off the shot clock for basketball. Tunley having a really impressive freshman campaign. It's 12-7 Eckerd. Tunley serving here. Rivera turns into the setter. Tunley again, this time coming out of the back row. Knocked over the top, played by Mikulska. Battle at the net, and the Tritons win it this time. Annual and young Jaychuk were up there. $13-7. I don't think we've seen Peyton Walker yet here in this set. There's a strong kill. Gregg to serve. That block a moment ago, by the way, was a solo block for young Jaychuk. 13-8 the score. Gregg serves. Haruska and Mikulska nearly collided. Young Jaychuk with the kill. She has that lefty hook shot style dump attack. Used it to perfection, 14-8. Service game back where we started. Down the middle of the floor, Tunley, and a solo block for Tampa, recorded by Jenna Davis. 14-9. I mentioned we haven't seen Walker. Walker with both of her hands sporting a lot of tape, although she is fully uniformed for the match. The Tritons have really been a mash unit all year with injuries. Mikulska receives the serve. Gentle attack up over the top. That's Annual. And here comes Walker coming on for her, as well as Knowles returning to serve. She had a really nice run of service that first time. It ended, though, with an error. Tampa overloads the near side of the court. 15-9, Eckerd leading. Ace! That overload completely backfired on Tampa. But they line up in it again. Nearly another ace. And then dunked down up over the top. Young Jaychuk is going to use her verticality for every inch she can get. 17-9 Eckerd, and Tampa calls its second timeout of the first set here in the MacArthur Center. We'll take a break on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Sydney Knowles back at the service line for the Tritons. Eckerd with a 17-9 lead here in the first set over number 1 and unbeaten Tampa. Eckerd jumped out to that 7-1 advantage right out of the gate and have held the Spartans at arm's length. Knowles delivers it to Rivera, the libero. Gentle attack up over the top by Schranger. Here's Doss, blocked back immediately. Doss plays it. Young Jaychuk for Mikulska. Another blocking attempt by Tampa. Walker touches up over the top. Rivera sends it over. Tritons immediately turn back the attack by Perez. Another one-touch rejection. Long rally here. Schranger, a good attack. Mikulska. This is returnable. Teed up across for Schranger. Pushed over the top. Diagonal attack. Rivera dives. Good defense by Knowles. A dump attempt for young Jaychuk and a violation for a double hit against the Tritons. Ends that long rally. Young Jaychuk goes immediately to the lead official questioning the call, but it's a point for the Spartans. Young Jaychuk still pleading her case. 17-10 the score. And Tess Schranger is about to serve for the Spartans. But first, Knowles will sub off. Annual and Haruska return. The serve by Schranger. Battle at the net, and young Jaychuk called for a violation lifting the ball after she lost the initial battle at the net. And Eckerd calls timeout. 17-11 Tritons will step aside again. This is the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. $17-11 is our score in set one. Eckerd leading number 1 Tampa. Tess Schranger serving for the Spartans. Mikulska. Down the middle of the floor comes Doss with the overhit. 17-12. Tampa hasn't gotten any closer than 4 since that early Tritons wave, and a service error means they won't get to within 4 here. Schranger serves it into the net, 18-12. Young Jaychuk to serve. Young Jaychuk is tied for the lead in this match in kills with 3. Poke up over the top, and it lands. I thought it had landed out by the initial signal. Actually, I thought it landed in. Watching it with my eyes, the official initially appeared to signal out, but the lead official does signal that it got the line. Tampa uses a lot of those angled soft touch attacks over the top. Here's Rivera serving, 18-13. And a little scoop. What deception there. Tunley and Walker both coming at it. And instead of the big hammer, it was the little scoop shot. 19-13. Here's Mikulska. Her serve was broken immediately. First time, she springs into it this time. Hard, heavy serve, lots of spin on it. And Tampa again turns away Mikulska pretty summarily. Tunley has 3 kills now as well after she had that gentle touch attack a moment ago. 19-14. Hruska receives it at libero, and Walker puts the hammer down. The Tritons are going to get a warning for this celebration, I think. The officials didn't really notice it. Half the bench was on the floor after the hammer that just got put down. Peyton Walker's second kill. It's 20-14. Williams serves. Ron with the first touch. Now with the attack. Knuckles it over the top. Teed up in the middle. Doss bats it. Ron. Tunley. Mikulska bats it over. Triton's got to scramble to get organized defensively. It got hit long. It was deflected by the Tritons. The far side official calls the deflection. Tritons began to celebrate, but somebody touched it. 21-14, still Eckerd in good shape here in set 1. This is the first we've seen of Lainey Purdue as she lofts the serve across. And Tunley puts it in the back row, right back at Purdue, and she can't return it. 21-15. Tunley to serve. Williams back on at libero for Eckerd. Tunley sends it over, not received cleanly. This is just going to be a shove attack by Carter. Long set for Doss with the deflection and the Eckerd point. (22-15) Eckerd. Here's Tunley again. Hit it very long, a service error. It cuts the Eckerd lead here in set 1 to 22-16. Rachel Gregg, who's leading the Spartans in kills so far with 4, serves from the near side, angles it into the middle. Hruska receives it. Touch up over the top. That was Aniol on the attack. And the Spartans grab the kill on the Tess Schranger attack, 22-17. Tampa has used its 2 timeouts. The Tritons have 1 remaining. Tunley hit it up pretty high. Aniol attacks. Here comes Schranger. Good defense by Doss. Now she comes on the attack. Tricky ball. Still winds up in a decent spot for a shove attack. Set across. Doss, it's hit right back at her. Mikulska races in defensively. Doss off the top of the net. Battle at the net and shoved down on the Eckerd side. And now Tampa is back to within 4. It's the closest they have been since 13-9. Actually, no. Closest it's been since 11-7. Hruska to her knees, receiving the serve. Doss's attack is blocked back. And let's see. Here it is, the timeout for Eckerd as Tampa has closed within 22-19. We'll step aside on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Out of the timeout, Eckerd's lead has been trimmed down to 3, 22-19. Rachel Gregg serving. Tunley receives. This is Doss, and this time with the deflection, and it didn't even matter. Put it to the hardwood, 23-19. Breaks Gregg's run of service. Gregg comes off. Matt Carter on to replace her. This is Doss serving, her third time at the line in this set. Oh, the official on the line started to point down to signal ace and then threw up her flag. A fake out, and it's 23-20. Rivera back on. That serve almost grazed the net. Mikulska loads up. Not her strongest hit of the night. Young Jaychuk shoves it over out of her setting stance. Miss hit by Haruska. Battle at the net. That's well defended. Haruska sets it for Mikulska. Hits it at Schranger. To the other side. Haruska diving to defend. Here's Mikulska again. Great defense by Purdue. In! Clip the back line as Doss let it go. And Tampa is within 2. Kayla Dondero serving for Tampa. Almost an ace. That hits off the ceiling, but it's returnable. Shoved over the top by Perez. Mikulska. Rivera got under it. This will be a tough one to return. Tampa barely does so. Touch over the top. Hit back toward the back row. Schranger bats it with an open hand. Mikulska with the fist. Rivera diving. It carries over. Triton's got to play it. Mikulska again. Rivera again with the dive. It hit a light fixture and comes to the floor. A ricochet off the ceiling light. Gets the Tritons the point. It gets Mikulska her third kill, and it brings up set point in set 1. Eckerd 24, Tampa 21, and here's Knowles for the third time at the line in the first set. Dances into her serve, a knuckler. Teed up, attacked initially by Purdue, blocked back. Rivera saves it. Dondero the set, Schranger. This carries toward the net. Walker hits it over for Eckerd. Rivera again for Schranger, long! And the Tritons take set 1. Oh, a deflection is called! The Tritons were celebrating taking set 1. I'm not sure which Triton could have deflected that. Schranger appeared to hit it cleanly out long. The Tritons protesting. Michelle Piantadosi Lima is livid, screaming across the court at the lead official. 24-22. Tampa will need consecutive served points by Schranger in order to extend the set. Still set point Eckerd. Schranger serves. An ace! Tunley didn't receive it cleanly. 24-23. Tritons trying to dig in through the adversity. Received by Tunley. Walker, a gentle attack, playable. Pushed over the top by Ron, still alive. Mikulska off the blockers. Ron, it spins right to Doss. Young Jaychuk tried for the dump, it's blocked back, and Tampa has tied it. 24-24. Neither team has a timeout left to use. And of course, each set is win by 2. The Tritons nearly led this set wire to wire. Tampa has drawn even at 24-24. Almost a misstep by Schranger into her serve. Tunley forced to receive it again. Mikulska. Tampa has defended her well. Ron, it's deflected, and Tampa now brings up set point at 25-24. And you wonder if the Tritons can mentally recover here after believing they had already won the set. Here's the serve. And it comes down on the Triton side. Number 1 Tampa rallies back. Trailed by as many as 7 in that first set, but they take it 26-24 over the Tritons. We'll be back in a moment with set number 2.
It's a college like no other. No bricks and ivy, but sun and sand, where learning happens everywhere, even here. A home for the adventurous, the doers, the free thinkers, and the best friends, where we push you to become a better citizen, problem solver, creator, for the careers of today and new ones on the horizon.
The first 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
Did you know that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating? And verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit? Act with respect and be officially human.
The top-ranked Tampa Spartans weathered an early Eckerd storm, fended off 3 Triton set points, and take set 1, 26-24. Team switch ends. Eckerd in their navy on the right end of the floor now, and Tampa in their whites. Tampa begins with the serve. Kayla Dondero. Young Jaychuk from the middle of the floor tees it up for a push attack by Annual. And an early kill under the fingertips of Doss. Tampa takes the 1-0 lead. Lofted over by Dondero. Shoved across. That looked like it got to the floor, but Tampa keeps it alive. A second time, but on the third try, Annual puts it to the hardwood. 1-1. Here's Knowles taking the first turn at service for the Tritons. Rivera receives it. And a strong kill by Jenna Davis, her third. For the Tritons, Jalen Tunley and Natalie Annual are tied with 4 kills apiece. Tess Schranger and Rachel Gregg each have 4 for Tampa. Here's Schranger to serve. Eckerd actually out-hit Tampa in that first set. Doss looking for the deflection, doesn't go the Tritons' way. Most of the close ones didn't during that first set. Schranger. Tunley, a bit of an awkward reception. Mikulska couldn't get it through the blockers. Walker over the top. Rivera rotates in underneath. Battle at the net. Temporarily won by the Tritons. And Mikulska hit it into the net. 4-1 Tampa. Tampa has made Tunley receive a ton of serves. That serve left very short by Schranger. Tritons down 4-2 here in set 2. Young Jaychuk to serve. Good defense by Doss. Mikulska attacked it. Here's Ron. Williams got under it. Back set for Tunley. And no deflection. Tampa gets the point. (5-2). And Rivera serving for Tampa with the lead. Mikulska on the receiving end. Doss out of the back row to attack. Well placed. Doss and Harushka both reaching and overextended. It's 6-2 Tampa, and the Spartans really starting to look like the number 1 team in the country right now. And a miss hit by Walker. Maybe not even so much a miss hit, it's just missed timing between Walker and receiving the pass. And the Tritons use their first time out of the second set rather. 7-2 Tampa in front on the SSC Digital Network. Out of the Eckerd timeout, Tampa leading by 5 in set 2 after taking set 1, 26-24. And a service error by Rivera. Good judgment by Doss to let it go. Rivera played that even though it looked like it may be heading down and out. Triton's trying to give Mikulska a chance to have consecutive serves for the first time in the match, and finally they do as Doss goes diagonal for the kill. 7-4. Rivera receives that. Tunley just has to stay alive. Battle at the net. Tritons survive again. Walker. Rivera gets under it. Ron. And young Jaychuk lunged but couldn't get a piece. Jenna Glaudel serving. Handcuffed Doss a little bit. Doesn't matter. Tunley lays the smackdown on that ball. 8-5. Service error by Sydney Williams sends it right back over to the Spartans. Served by Ron. Doss. Waddell had the initial touch, and Schranger puts it in the back far corner. Tampa doubling up Eckerd, 10-5. Triton's overload near side and a service error. Serve came right up that near line and drifted outside of it. Tunley to serve. Tunley defends the Schranger attack. Here's Doss. Rivera bumps it up. Schranger again pushed it all the way toward the near line from the far pole. Out of the back row, Ron with the attack, and it caught Maggie Turner flat-footed. Tunley just barely got down to play it initially, couldn't get much lift on it. Turner was the only one with another chance at it, but she couldn't lower herself. Stepped in some cement. Serve sent across to Gregg. That's off the ceiling and comes down to the Triton side for an Eckerd point. Cannot cross the net after hitting the ceiling. I believe Brian Imperial just questioned if it actually did. It didn't hit any of the rafters, but it actually grazed the underside of the ceiling itself. Doss serves, twisting right to left. Doss got stuck on her knees, but recovered to play the ball. Young Jaychuk sent it across. Williams teed up for Mikulska. Schranger shoves it at Tunley. Out of the back row comes Doss. Hit up into the ceiling by Rivera. It's bouncing around. 4 bounces and recovered and hit across. Tampa keeps it alive, and then young Jaychuk mishit the dump, and Tampa plays that bouncing ball that ricocheted 4 times in the ceiling, and they come away with the point, 12-7. Dondero to serve. Neither team is hitting 200 in this match. It's been really well played defensively. Mikulska mistimed it, but it threw off Tampa's timing as well. She batted it over flat-footed. Tampa slow to react, and it finds its way to the floor. 12-8, Tampa leading Eckerd. And Knowles serving for the Tritons. Out. Knowles tried to pick that far corner. Tampa hanging on to that 5-point edge. Schranger. Mikulska receives it. Pushed into the back row by young Jaychuk. And then struck home, I believe, by Jenna Davis. 14-8. Teed up in the middle for Walker. Her 3rd kill for Eckerd. Tritons need a spurt here to get it back to within 2 or 3 at least. Young Jaychuk will try to deliver that. Rivera, tough initial touch, but when you have a great setter, sometimes they can salvage that, and Dondero did right there. 15-9 Tampa, and Rivera back to serve. Walker, great placement. Found the soft spot in the middle of the Tampa defense. Tritons with Tunley, Walker, and Doss up front. Mikulska serving. And a kill for Nathalie Perez. So Tampa keeps the lead at a half dozen, 16-10. Glaudel to serve. Doss has it blocked right back. Rachel Gregg up there in the middle. Actually, Jenna Davis, and that might have been her 4th block. She already had 3. 17-10, Tampa leads Eckerd, and the Tritons use its 2nd time out. 17-10 is the score on the SSC Digital Network. 17-10, Tampa leading Eckerd in set 2. Tampa already took set 1, 26-24. Tunley's attack. Double hit on that push over. Ron called for it. 17-11. Sydney Williams serving. And Ron, another well-placed one-hand push to the floor. (18-17). Tunley, a little scoop, and it's hit out by Tampa. Point for Eckerd. But now the Tritons down 6, 18-12, really need a run to get back into this. Let's see if Tunley can deliver that. Received by Schranger and hammered home right in the middle. 19-12. Rachel Gregg to serve. That was Matt Carter's first kill, by the way, that last one. Harushka receives the serve. Well placed by Das for the kill. 19-13. Das serves. Diving play by Williams, sends it back over. And the next one right back at her before she had recovered. 20-13. Dondero serving with Tampa up 7. It really seems like the Spartans took Eckerd's best punch in that first set. Block back. Tough angle. And Mikulska finally an advantageous chance to strike. (20-14). Knowles to serve. Five kills for Mikulska. Das has 5. Tunley has 6. And violation on Young Jaychuk. Called for that double hit again. (21-14). Schranger is serving. Tap up over the top. Ron on the attack. Here's Mikulska, got the deflection. A half dozen kills for Mikulska. She had 17 in the 5-set classic between these two teams in Tampa earlier this year. Back set for Tunley. Got it! 21-16. And Tampa taking no chances. They'll use their first timeout. We'll step aside. This is the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Young Jaychuk serving after the Eckerd timeout, 21-16. Tampa leading over Eckerd as Young Jaychuk springs into her serve. Ron's attack is met at the net. Teed up for Walker. Puts it down in front of Rivera. 5 kills for Peyton Walker. A sophomore from Kentucky. Continues to play well despite all that tape wrapped up on both of her hands. Triton's back to within 4. And that push back by Walker lands out. 22-17. This is right around where Tampa made their comeback at a similar score when it was reversed in set 1. Rivera serves, received by Doss. Tunley pushing for the back corner. Ron on the attack. And Young Jaychuk couldn't redirect it back toward the floor, toward the middle of it. 23-17. Doss hits it up over a rafter. Mikulska hit it across. A battle at the net for the moment. Won by Tampa, and they do come away with the point. And it brings up set point for the Spartans at 24-17. Rivera serving for the set. A rainbow. Tunley got the redirect. Keeps the Tritons alive for the moment, but they need 6 consecutive Mikulska serves to get even and extend the set. And they're not going to get it as Natalie Perez ends set 2. 25-18, the Spartans are up 2-0 and will have their brooms out looking for a sweep on the road against the Tritons when we return on the Sunshine.
It's a college like no other. No bricks and ivy, but sun and sand, where learning happens everywhere, even here. A home for the adventurous, the doers, the free thinkers, and the best friends, where we push you to become a better citizen, problem solver, creator, for the careers of today and new ones on the horizon.
The first 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of Scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
Did you know that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating? And verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit? Act with respect and be officially human.
Third period about to begin between Eckerd and Tampa here in St. Petersburg. Tampa's taken the first two sets, 26-24 and 25-18. Gabby Young-Jaychuk gets things started for the Tritons, serving from the left side of the court. Young-Jaychuk has to play it off her knees. Doss bats it across. And Tampa winds up poorly rotated, and the Tritons score first. MacArthur Center has filled in nicely, as I expected. A bit of a late arriving crowd as the sun's sinking down now. Lots of students making their way in off the bayfront. Schranger on the attack. If that doesn't hit anything, it can be live, but it didn't matter because it landed wide outside and out of bounds. Crossed outside the pole as well. There was nothing going the Tritons' way on that defensive attempt. 1-1. Schranger serves. Tunley. That winds up out off Ron. 2-1 Eckerd. A reminder, on Monday night over at Johnson Field, we will have at 7 p.m. Eckerd against Rollins in a women's soccer Sunshine State Conference playoff game. Quarterfinal matchup, Eckerd the 2 seed, Rollins the 7 seed. You'll be able to see it here on the SSC Digital Network. Mikulska's serve. There's an attack by Ron up into the rafters. Didn't hit anything. Mikulska comes out of the back line and got the deflection. 2-1 Eckerd. 3-1 Eckerd, rather. Mikulska's serve hit long. She had a couple errors last night, very similar to that one. Just overshot it. Anna Rivera serving. Doss plays it initially. Walker with the kill. Pounded it between Rivera and Schranger. Sydney Williams to serve. Doss went up over the top, but the Spartans keep it alive and collect the kill. 4-3. Jenna Glaudel checks in. She'll serve. Gives Dondero a break. Tunley hit up near the ceiling. Glaudel sets it up for Ron. Harushka has to become the setter here. Doss punches it across. Dumped by Glaudel. Harushka just barely got under it, but couldn't turn it into anything for Eckerd. 4-4. Lofted across. Mikulska, a tough hit. Mikulska has to turn her back and hit it over. She does. Tritons deflected that. 5-4. Tampa goes ahead. Mikulska with the first touch. Doss scoops it up and over, played by Ron. And the Tritons deflect that. No. Officials down the sides, or rather I should say the officials at center court, confer with each other. No deflection. Natalie Perez is leading Tampa with 7 kills now, by the way. Tunley's up to 9 and Mikulska 7 for Eckerd. 5-5 the score, and Ron collects her 7th for the Spartans. This is a Tampa team with national championship ambitions. Miss hit on the set, but Tunley salvages it. Set up for Annual. Here's Schranger. And punched up into the post by Rivera. That's out, 6-6. Eckerd sides out for Doss to serve. Rivera gets the first touch on it. And that is blasted past Doss by Mac Carter for her third kill. Tampa's hitting is up to 262. Eckerd still below 200. That'll help as Annual got the deflection and ties the score 7-7 here in the third. Here's Knowles back on to serve. This time Knowles drops an ace in the corner. Just the second ace for the Tritons tonight. And nearly missed time, but Schranger adjusted and gets the kill to tie the score 8-8. Ron served it across. Or actually, no, that was Dondero, sorry. Shoved down by Jenna Davis for her seventh kill. And lucky sevens for Tampa. 4 players with 7 kills apiece. Ron, Perez, Schranger, and Davis. 9-8 Spartans. Dondero, a service error. Now we're just trading points here. It's 9-9. Young Jaychuk serve. The initial hit came sailing across, and Walker pounds it down, 10-9. Miscommunication by the Spartans. Are out of touches. 11-9. Spartans elected to play that. Looked like it was sailing long. Perez had a good attack. Touch up over the top for the Tritons. And the kill registered by Davis. Breaks the symmetry of all those sevens with her 8th kill. Tunley off the blockers. Ron has it blocked back. 12-10 Eckerd. Tritons trying to dig in here in the third set. Extend it to a fourth set. And a call Mikulska. Ron. Long. 13-10 Eckerd. Timeout called by Tampa. Tritons lead by 3 in the third. You're watching the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Out of the timeout, Mikulska. Rivera down to play it. This sails over off young Jaychuk. Dondero set it up for Perez. Scoop attack by Doss. Ron. Mikulska defends it. And Tunley, with no deflection, hit it long. Tampa back within 2. Mikulska shoves it at Schranger. Rushka down to play it. Tunley wide. Tampa back within 1. Looped up. Doss. This Tampa team so good defensively. Ron hit it off Mikulska to even the score, 13-all. Another slow looping serve. Tritons mistimed the fake that time. And up off the ceiling. Tritons probably caught a break there as it looked like Tunley for the third straight time was going to hit it wide. But Schranger played it and hit it up off the roof. 14-13 Eckerd. Williams to serve. Ron pounds it off a Triton. 14-14. Bloodell serving. Doss. Ron. And Jaychuk to her knees. Harushka bumps it up. Tritons nearly had 2 players hit it at once. Mikulska to a knee. Doss, it's blocked back but lands out for the Tritons point. 15-14. Tunley serves, Schranger receives. Attacked by Carter. Doss loops it over. Ron, Tunley defends. And Tampa is in the net. 16-14 Eckerd. Young Jaychuk and Walker, or actually Young Jaychuk and Annual got crafty that time. Playing it laterally along the top of the net. Tunley serves. This is going to come on over. Doss went up to try to dunk it. And Ron, with a gentle attack, is rewarded with her. Let's see. I've got these numbers right. It is now 16-15. Now back to the action. Ron serving. Annual on the attack. Rivera bumps this one up for Schranger to attack. Over Annual. Doss has it sent right back at her. Doss to try again. Pushed it at the back line and pushed it too long. Oh, violation. No, a deflection. I'm not sure where it happened, but the Tritons certainly could use a break, and it's 17-15. Brian Imperial is livid. Doss to serve with the Tritons up 2. Tritons still have both timeouts. Tampa has one. Glaudel setting. Big kill by Carter. By the way, I was correct a moment ago. Ron is now up to 10 kills. She and Tunley are the two leading hitters in this match, each with 10. Served across by Gregg. Triton shove it over on the second hit. Schranger goes diagonal. Tritons collide. And Tampa hit it wide. There was a golden opportunity there for the Spartans to get even as Mikulska and another Triton collided. Eckerd was all out of sync in their defensive rotation. But an attack error bails them out. Here's Knowles, 18-16 Eckerd. Tampa isn't going anywhere. Carter's up to 5 kills. 18-17. Remember, the Tritons played from ahead essentially the entire first period before losing 26-24 in that first set. Dondero to serve. Walker, but defended by Ron. Mikulska up in the ceiling, didn't hit anything, almost into the Tampa bench. Hit over by Ron with her back to the net. Walker on the attack again. That was Perez. Battle at the net, won by the Spartans to get even 18-18. Those 50-50 balls have been won by the Spartans more often than not. Number 1 Tampa serving for the lead. Mikulska hits it off the blockers and keeps the Tritons with an edge, 19-18, and they will serve. In Jaychuk, a service error, and that is a backbreaker in that spot, 19-19. Schranger serving. Tunley. Got it! Her 11th kill. The serve by Mikulska, and Tampa miscommunicated. Davis thought she was supposed to fake hit, and that Perez would follow with the attack, or perhaps Ron would. Neither did. 21-19 Eckerd leads. Timeout Tampa. We'll take a break on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. King and Mikulska with another service error coming out of the timeout. Service errors rearing their head at an ugly time for the Tritons. 7 of those now. Both teams have defended serves well. There's only been 3 aces in this match. Rivera serving to tie it up for Tampa. Harushka receives the serve. Schranger with a touch-up over the top. And Tunley, oh, it's still alive! Tunley goes gentle this time. Up and over a rafter. Harushka has to play it. It's going to sail over. And Tampa bats it back in. That was Perez with her 8th kill. And brings the Spartans level at 21-21. Again, Tampa just so outstanding defensively, as it looked for sure like Tunley had her 12th kill. And Eckerd now will use a timeout, and we'll take a timeout as well. We'll be back in a moment on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. 21-21 the score. Tampa serving, Rivera to serve. Tampa gunning for a sweep after taking the first 2 sets. Walker off the blockers for the point, and Eckerd is ahead 22-21. That is set up for Ron as she hammered it off Williams to tie the score at 22. Waddell. Oh, this is going to sail right on over, easy as can be for Rachel Gregg. 23-22 Tampa. For the second time in 3 sets, Tampa coming from behind late. They have the advantage. And Tunley brings Eckerd even. This time she does get her 12th kill. (23-23), Tunley serving. Waddell not in great position to set that up. Williams sliding down under Ron's attack. Doss. Tampa keeps it alive. Rivera back sets Ron. Great play by Williams. 2 Tritons collide, but it's still alive. Williams is down. She's back up, and it is in. Hit in by Ron. I thought it was wide. Tritons fans all throwing up their hands. Timeout, and set point is on the other side of this timeout when we return on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Coming out of the timeout, set point and match point for top-ranked Tampa. Spartans looking for a sweep to remain unbeaten. Connor Ron to serve. She leads the Spartans with 12 kills. She has 1 of the 3 Spartan aces. Also 11 digs and a block. Tritons fans making noise. Ron sends it across. Here it's set up for Doss. And Doss keeps the Tritons' hopes alive at 24-24. Tritons break set and match point. And Doss will serve. This tails toward the net. Beautiful set, though. And it leads to the Carter kill. Waddell's 16th assist. Dondero has 19. They've both been brilliant. Set and match point again for Tampa. Serve received by Tunley. Mikulska evens the score at 25-25. Knowles coming on to serve. Neither team has a timeout remaining. Miscommunication, receiving that serve. Schranger. This is set up for Mikulska! And the Tritons go ahead, 26-25. Set point for Eckerd. And Schranger brings Tampa back to level. 26-26. Dondero serves. This is going to sail right to the net. 50-50 ball. It lands in. 27-26. Young Jaychuk to serve. Had a service error her last time. Keeps it in play. Dondero sets it up for Schranger. It pops up in the air. Tunley played it, set across. Mikulska pushes it off the blockers. That's too, no, it is. I thought that was too many hits on Tampa. Doesn't matter. Mikulska steals the set for Eckerd. 28-26. We've got ourselves a match here in the MacArthur Center. Eckerd and Tampa will switch sides again, and we'll keep playing. Back in a moment on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
It's a college like no other. No bricks and ivy, but sun and sand, where learning happens everywhere, even here. A home for the adventurous, the doers, the free thinkers, and the best friends, where we push you to become a better citizen, problem solver, creator, for the careers of today and new ones on the horizon.
The first 50 years of the Sunshine State Conference inspired champions and built a legacy rooted in excellence. A legacy built from a single sport to a conference of national champions. Threaded through geography, fueled by growth, defined by excellence. 135 team national titles, 173 individual champions, and hundreds of Scholar All-Americans. Always at the top of NCAA Division II. Looking ahead, we reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we're going. The Sunshine State Conference, where success thrives.
Did you know that love of sports is the #1 reason most people start officiating? And verbal abuse is the #1 reason why most quit? Act with respect and be officially human.
Set 4 getting set to commence between Eckerd and number 1 Tampa here on the campus of Eckerd College. Nate March here with you. First set went 26-24 to Tampa. 25-18 was set 2 also to Tampa. The Tritons broke match point a couple of times for a 28-26 third set win. Schranger set up for Walker, defended by Ron. But Walker goes up for the dunk as Ron sent it all the way back across. Stat check. Ron's at 12 kills for Tampa. Tunley and Mikulska each have 12 for Eckerd. Walker just snared her 9th. Mikulska to serve. Pushed across by Schranger. Set up for Das. 2-0 Eckerd. 10 kills for Das. Das also leads the Tritons with 18 digs. Service error. This time Mikulska underhits it. 2-1. Schranger to serve. Tunley on the attack. Young Jaychuk defending, kept alive on the dive by Harushka. Perez, Harushka under it again. Das whacks it over. Ron. Das! 3-1 Eckerd. Hitting percentage rising for both teams. Tampa's at 270, Eckerd's at 234. Some of these players have really put in a lot of mileage. Of course, Eckerd doesn't have much of a bench at all due to all the injuries. Ron's strike is blocked back but out. 3-2 and Tampa sides out. Schranger has 40 total attacks. Ron's attempted 38. Mikulska's attempted 38. Das is 34. Tunley 33. Tunley receives that. This has to be sent over. Das thrusts it across. Ron. There are 2 Tritons on the floor. They recover momentarily, but then there's the kill. An errantly received serve, and Tampa goes ahead 4-3. It's Rachel Gregg who is serving for the Spartans. And that was poorly received by Harushka, and now back-to-back serves for Gregg have failed to cross. And so those ace numbers creeping up after they've been so low all night. And this is going to turn into a third straight unreturned ball. The first one was an ace. The second one, a setting error by young Jaychuk. And it's 6-3 Tampa, and the Tritons quickly need to call time. Keep this from getting away from them early on the SSC Digital Network. Tampa serving out of the timeout. Rachel Gregg sends it across, and this time, nope. The Tritons only nominally managed to return it. Doss had to try to scoop it up, and it was knocked right back in her face. 7-3 Tampa. The nation's #1 team. Maybe about ready to go on a run here. Tritons again unsettled, just have to shove it over. Battle at the net, and it lands out on the Spartans side off Eckerd. 8-3. 7-0 run. Doss finally breaks it. 8-4, but now the Tritons have work to do. This is going to sail across. Ron with the kill off of Tunley. 9-4 Tampa. Bloodell serving. And the Tritons caught a break that time. Doss's attack was sailing long, but the Spartans played it out the back. 9-5 Tampa. Doss to serve. Batted off the top of the net. Mikulska with a big strike. Mikulska again off the young J. Chuck set. Bloodell with a dump, and it's successful, 10-5. Good long rally going, and Bloodell brings it to an abrupt stop. Connor Ron. And the Tritons look like a team running out of gas. (11-5) Tampa. Annual's attack. Rejected right back. And Eckerd forced to use its second timeout already, down 12-5 in set 4. The potentially decisive set if Tampa wins it here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. 12-5, Tampa leading Eckerd in set 4. Tritons fought valiantly to win the third set, 28-26, to force this fourth set. Tampa is turning up the heat, though, in the MacArthur Center. Rivera perfectly rotated. Schranger got the deflection, 13-5. And another successful rejection at the net by the Spartans. Laney Purdue to serve. Another tough serve reception. Tunley turns it into something. That's up into the ceiling and into the Tritons bench. Tritons have run a valiant race this afternoon, but they don't have the horses right now to hang in this fourth set. Purdue serving with a 10-point lead. And Jaychuk tries the dump attack. Mikulska snaps Tampa's momentum for the moment. Two separate runs of 7-0 and 6-0 for Tampa have opened up a 15-6 lead. Knowles serves. Tampa hit the net that time. Clear violation on the Spartans. This is going to carry over, and Schranger puts it inside the back line. 16-7. Rivera serving. Walker's attempt goes wanting. It's kept alive, but multiple Tritons are out of position for this attack by Ron. Harushka hits the floor out of the back line. Doss attacks. Here comes Schranger and snipes the corner past a diving Doss. (17-7). Rivera sends it over. Mikulska, no deflection. 18-7. Received by Doss. Walker on the attack. Walker winds up stuck with it on her arms. (19-7). Grace Dumont checks in for young Jaychuk. Not sure Gabby had much more to give. Walker on the second try snaps another Tampa scoring run. It's 19-8. Dumont, the sophomore setter from Greenville, South Carolina, gives herself a long runway to serve. And the southpaw sends it over. Williams played that first, and the play was blown dead. Not sure what for. Tampa got the point, but still seemed upset about it. If I had to guess, I would have thought maybe a double hit on Eckerd. 20-8. Twisting ball. Schranger, it's hit right back at her. This carries back over. A mad scramble around the net. Schranger off the face of Frushka. Tunley swats it over. Kept alive by Dumont. And a deflection earns the kill for Mikulska, her 14th. Mikulska serving, another service error. I believe that's her 4th of the match. Second one she's left short. She's had at least one sail out long, I think 2. Triton's 10 total service errors. 21-9. Doss finds the floor for Eckerd. This has been a really fun match. It seems headed toward a fairly anticlimactic finish. Again, Tampa had gone 2 weeks since the last time they lost a set. That ball clips the line for a Tampa point. Tritons did successfully take a set and darn near took 2 from Tampa this afternoon. Yeah, that first set still haunts you, leading by as many as 7. Having set point broken 3 times. 26-24, dropping of that first set. And Tritons hit that one out. This is Zoe Richardson, a freshman from North Carolina, in serving now for Tampa. As both teams have gotten some reserves on the floor here late. It's just that the Tritons don't have many reserves to turn to. There's a kill for Tunley. 13 for her. Mikulska and Doss each have 14. Connor Ron is up to 15. (23-11). Tunley serves. Annual. And Doss has her 15th kill. Make that 16 kills for Ron. It brings up set point and match point for Tampa. Jenna Glaudel to try and bring things to a close. Tunley is shaken up for the Tritons and is being examined by the training staff. She appears to be lobbying to remain on the court. And let's see, it looks like she will be allowed to. 24-12, and now Glaudel will try to put a bow on it for the Spartans. Here's Doss. Hit wide and no deflection. Tampa snares the fourth set, 25-12. They take the match 3-1 and remain unbeaten at 23-0 on the year, 15-0 in SSC play. Tritons have their brief winning streak snapped as they slip to 15-11, 5-10 in conference play. Tritons will be back at it on Tuesday night here at home against the Rollins College Tars. And remember, the Tars women's soccer team will be here for a playoff soccer match on Monday night at 7 p.m. So both of those events will be here on the SSC Digital Network. Final stats from this one, Connor Ron leading the way with 16 kills for Tampa. Caitlin Doss had 15 to lead the Tritons. Final scores of the sets, 26-24 Tampa in set 1, 25-18 Tampa in set 2, 28-26 Eckerd in set 3, 25-12 Tampa in set 4. That'll do it from here inside the MacArthur Center. For my producer, Ava, I'm Nate Marr.